Hello everybody, welcome to my channel, Tom's How To channel, and we're going to be doing some video editing today. This is episode 2, and episode 2 is going to be about splitting video clips. So we are at the VSDC video editor welcome page. As you see, I have the Pro Edition. I went for the $20 upgrade, and one of the features that you will see in this episode comes with the Pro Edition. So here we are. Let's get started. Let's go to the Projects button, New Project. We're going to name this one VSDC Splitting Video Clips Demo 2. Okay, got my name there. There's other information you could put in. I almost always go with full HD. That's what my laptop and cameras can handle. And but VSDC, it edits high definition, 4K, ultra high definition. So we create this project. It's an empty project. We need to populate it with objects like video clips. In this episode, that's what we'll be doing. Other objects you could add are audio clips, obviously, and images. So let's go to the editor button, which is what you'll be using 90% of the time, and go to add object. And we're going to add videos, and I've got 2 already to go. I'll bring them in both at the same time, and that brings up a wizard window, which is misspelled, W-I-S-A-R-D. I find it pretty much worthless, although it does show you the objects that you're bringing in, and from here you can also add files and remove files. But otherwise it doesn't really help you that much. So we'll just apply settings. Okay, so we've brought in the 2 objects, the 2 images, and as we discovered in episode 1, a sprite is simply a container or a grouping for objects. So I'll double click on here, and there's my 2 video clips that I brought into the project. For this demonstration, I'm actually going to switch these around. I'm going to take this video clip and drag it to the beginning. So I'm going to hold the left mouse button down and just pull it over here to point 0 of the project. And then I'll take this other one, do the same, bring it this way though. Yeah, everything should fit nice and snug because we haven't made any changes yet. So the end of this clip will be perfectly flush with the beginning of this clip. Alright, so this first clip is the first example of when you would want to split a video as opposed to cut it. When you cut a video, you could cut it you know, at an inopportune moment at the wrong time, and it makes the video, the end product, look choppy. So sometimes you want to use splitting. Let's preview this and I'll show you what I'm talking about. I make a noise at the beginning of this video which is very irritating. It's not the most irritating noise in the world, but it's irritating and I want to get rid of it. So let's preview first. Okay.
Hello.
See what I mean? That I don't like it. I'm going to get rid of it. I mentioned earlier one of the features that you get with the Pro Edition. It's called a waveform, and how you open it is you click on this icon that looks like a waveform and click show waveform, and you get a graphic representation of the audio. It splits the audio and video. I can't see that very well, so I'm going to zoom in another 4 times. I'm going to do the same for this video, the second one as well. Now it's still a little small, it's hard to see a lot of details, so I'm going to go over to this zoom control and zoom in pretty good, not all the way but close, and maybe a little bit more. Maybe that's too much. Okay, yeah, that was a little too much. So I see here there's this little hump that happens about 3.6 seconds into the video. I suspect that's the noise that the offending noise that I don't want in there. So let's check it out. Let's move the marker same way we drag the clips. Hold the left mouse button down and just pull it over, and we'll put it right in front of that bump. So we know that this is not going to move until we move it, so every time we preview it, it's going to come back to this start point. So let's preview it. Yeah. Okay, that's it. So this is the section right here that we're interested in. So what I'm going to do is split this one video clip into 3, and this is going to be the middle one, and then I'll show you how you can edit the properties of that small video clip. So we've got this highlighted, the markers in the place we want it to be. We go up to editor and we choose split into parts, and there we go. So let's just open up that waveform again. There's the noise that I don't want to be so loud and irritating. So let's move this marker over to the end, right about there, and we'll split it again. I've got to make an observation here. When you split a video clip, the two halves are both highlighted. So if you go to the editor, everything's grayed out because you can only have one object selected at a time to edit. So I'll just click out here in the gray, and then it deselects both, and then I'll select this one. Then I can go up here and choose split into parts, and there we go. Okay, just for consistency, and I'll move this picture up just a little bit so I can see all 3. This is the part we don't want. Now remember, these 2 clips are both highlighted, so let's unselect them both. This one here, when I click on it, you notice that the properties window on the right hand side gets populated. Let's scroll down, and you have a field here called audio volume in decibels, and if we click in there, we get a slider. Usually if you bring it over to about -10 decibels, it's a reasonable enough volume where it's, you know, almost background noise but not quite, and it's it fits in better to the video. So let's preview it. You'll see what I mean. Hello everybody. Okay, see that? Now I can live with that noise. It's not so irritating now. So that's one example of when you would want to split to change the properties there. Also, in the next case, I'm choosing to split because it's just easier to keep the reference points. You could make 2 cuts, or you could split and then just delete the middle cut. So this next video clip is an example I know we've all experienced, is that you'll have a very long section of a video where nothing's happening. Nobody's doing anything, nothing's going on, and it's just boring. So we want to cut that whole big chunk out. So we're going to go ahead and do that right now. So we'll just highlight there, and we'll move the cursor or the marker over here just by clicking on this bar, So we're at the beginning, or at the end of this clip, beginning of this one. So let's preview it, and I'll talk about the this particular example. Let's lower the volume on this one. Okay, so see here already at the beginning, this is too long of a time approach for the tram. I would probably back this up a couple frames till the bus is just out of the picture, and the tram would probably be just behind where the shadow line is, and that's where I would start the video. So I'd cut everything out beforehand, but we've already covered cutting, so we'll just move on. So we'll continue. Tram goes by. Now I do a pan here, and just by sheer luck, there's an old couple here that were following me, so I sort of panned with them just to give another storytelling element to the video. So they're going to walk up to that tram. We're waiting on the bus to show up. The bus, this bus is going to be parked there for minutes. Nothing going on. So notice here's a young couple now walking. It looks like they're going to head off to my left or their right. And right there, maybe another second or two, would be a good place to mark the first split. So we'll do that first. We got to find it. So let's open this window a little bit more. Let's move this cursor over a little bit. Okay. I'm panning. Okay. Here comes the old couple. All right. And they're walking over there. Here comes the bus. Here comes the young people walking. We'll move forward now with these arrow buttons. This is single arrow. Moves you forward or backwards one frame at a time. So remember, there's 30 frames per second, so that's a very fine touch. This double arrow moves per second, so second forward or second back. So let's move seconds at a time. So they're walking over here, and I think right about there is where I'm gonna mark. Let's try a little bit more. Yeah, I think I'll have this lady right here. Okay, so the marker is where we want it to be for the first split of this original second video clip. So we're going to go ahead, it's highlighted, and we're going to split it. Okay, so now let's zoom in a little bit. Yeah. So now we're going to find the other end of the piece of this video, of that long section where the bus is just sitting there and nothing's happening. So let's move the cursor a little bit. Okay, see that bus is just parked there, nothing's happening, really boring. Okay, now I don't know if you could see that, but the bus doors just closed. So we want to back up from there, and also that tram up there is pulling away. We can zoom in a little bit. So let's back it up second by second. And I think right about there would be a good start. Maybe just one more forward. Yeah, right about there, because the tram is pulling away and the bus will shortly close its doors and pull away too. So this is a great spot right here to set the other split. Notice I still have both of them highlighted, so I've got to go out here and click, deselect them, and then select the one I want to split. So back to editor, our favorite button, and split into parts. And there we go. So in this example that I'm giving you, I'm just going to highlight. And notice when I tried to highlight it, when they were both highlighted, nothing happened. So click out here and select it. So I'm just going to go ahead and delete that. Now we've got this big gap between these two videos. So that'll just end up being a big long black screen. Why black? Because the background color of the video project is black. That's why. It could be any color, and then that blank spot would be that color. So see, it just goes black. And we have to wait 2 or 3 minutes of black until we got to the next part. Okay, so how do we get this this edge of this clip and this one to butt up against each other perfectly? Well, you take this cursor as close as you can, or marker, to the very end of this clip. Now let's do the fine touch and go 1 frame at a time until we see black. If we see black, let's back it up. Okay, frame, black. So we know this is absolutely the last frame in this clip. So the cursor's right on that mark. So we'll just take this, drag it over, and look how it pops onto that line. That's why you use the cursor to do that. Let's just back that up. Now, here's another space. This is the end of the project. This was the original length of the video if we hadn't done any editing. So we need to take this white cursor and we're going to bring this white line to the end of this last video clip. Not quite. There we go. The white cursor is a little bit better about getting onto the edge than trying to do these by hand. That's why we use this marker to line them up. Anyway, so the new duration of this video is 5 minutes and 45 seconds and whatever change. So let's just save the project. Okay, and let's just preview this. Okay, there goes the young couple. They're crossing. Here comes the lady, and boom, all the people disappeared, and the bus looked like it just stood still in time because it didn't move. Now, next episode, I'm going to show you what's called fade-ins and fade-outs. These are the most powerful effects, most professional effects that you can do even at the beginning when you're learning, like I am, to put on your videos. And as long as you're editing videos, you'll always be using fade-ins and fade-outs. It's just one of the basics of video editing and putting together a story. So anyway, I appreciate you watching this episode. There's a link to my Patreon site down in the comments, and also a link to where you can download the VSDC video editor, the free version. I love it. It's for me, it's the best one out there, regardless of what the price is, but it's free unless you upgrade as I did. So leave comments, give me some ideas if about any topics you'd like me to cover. And thanks again for watching Tom's How To channel, and I'll see you in next episode, episode 3, fade ins and fade outs.